So welcome along, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, we've got Gemma. Hi, Gemma. Sorry, Kelly.
It's exciting seeing all the names running in. Thank you all for this morning. I'm only going to talk for a second and then I'm going to sit back and listen to Olivia. I know some of you on the call, but not all of you. So for those who don't know me, I'm Kelly. I'm one of the directors of Lawrence Dean Recruitment. We're a recruitment agency, obviously based in Hertfordshire. And throughout 2020, we've been working on upping our LinkedIn game, and actually had quite a lot of help from Olivia and Mark at Red Sprout. We first met in March, I think, when you did your boot camp.
When I think it was February, actually, because it was just before lockdown, wasn't it? It was February in London, yeah.
Just before lockdown. So I attended a Red Sprout boot camp all about LinkedIn and how to do video and how to all the things that Liv's going to talk to you about today, and it was great. So I'm really glad to have you on board to help today. And I think one of the things that's really key this year is for those people looking for work, looking at different and alternative ways to increase your chances of success, really. We're running a series of webinars. So we did one a few weeks ago for candidates, generally about how to stand out in a crowded market. And one of the things that came through was people kind of lacking a bit of confidence or a bit of know-how with LinkedIn, hence the reason we wanted to do this webinar today. So I will let you introduce yourself, Olivia. I'm going to turn my video off and throw it over to you. But to everybody watching, we would like today to be as interactive as possible. So you will see at the bottom of your screen there's a Q&A box. As we go, please pop questions in there of anything that you'd like to ask Olivia. I'll collate them and then ask them at the end if they haven't already been covered. So yeah, it's over to you.
Cool, I will share my screen. Let's hope this works properly. I think it's gonna, yes, okay, cool. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Let me know where you're from in the chat, because lots of you messaged me yesterday to say that you were joining, so I'm really excited to have you all with me. If I keep looking over my shoulder, it's because I'm waiting for a table to be delivered, and obviously as these things go, the table's going to arrive whilst I'm on the call, so if I'm looking in funny places, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so yeah, as Kelly said, this is all about using LinkedIn in your job search. So my name's Liv. Let me try and get to my slide. Yeah, I co-run Red Sprout Media. We actually used to be a recruitment agency, same as Lawrence Dean. We specialised in marketing recruitment. We did that for 4 years, and we used LinkedIn to kind of build our brand, and we always encouraged candidates to use LinkedIn in their job searches as well. We're now a marketing agency, and so we don't do recruitment anymore, but we do work with recruitment agencies with their marketing. So we've kind of flipped things around a little bit. Hopefully I can share some good tips with you this morning. So yeah, let's get started. So for me, I think there's 4 main ways that you guys can be using LinkedIn right now. The first one is to give your profile a makeover. Now, a lot of you I know are already kind of seasoned LinkedIn users. I don't want to teach you to suck eggs. You know, I'm not going to go through the basics of make sure your name's right and things like that. Hopefully, I've got some little tips that you might have overlooked in your profile, so you can give your profile a bit of a refresh. Or start from scratch. You might not be used to using LinkedIn. So we've got a few things that we can go through. Kelly, I've just noticed your name's Harrison. Is Harrison on here?
He was due to join, so hopefully.
Okay, hi Harrison, if you're here.
He had signed up, he was due to be there. I'll share the story at the end of why I'm Harrison for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Love that. So yeah, first of all, we'll go through profile stuff. Second of all, I'll talk about connecting with the right people and how to find them. Then it's engaging with those people once you're connected. And then finally, getting creative with both LinkedIn and with your job applications. So starting with your profiles. Now I've got some examples here. I don't know if Gerard's on the webinar because he's based in New York, and I'm pretty sure he said it's 5 a.m. there, but if you are on it, Gerard, hi, thank you for letting me use you as my little case study. So there's a few things to consider in your LinkedIn profile. Some obvious ones, you know, obviously like your profile picture and things like that, about you, your location. Actually, location is less obvious than you think, but I'll get onto that. But there's also things you can do like featured posts, recommendations, and media examples. So just starting with the basics. If you have a little look at Gerard's, I think his is a really good example of a kind of informative, eye-catching and quite personality-driven LinkedIn profile. So starting with his profile picture, he's so warm and friendly in it. You know, he's smiley. It's a lovely profile picture. He looks approachable. He's used his header, which is the green bit at the top. He's used his header to kind of replicate what it is that he does. He's used he's put some additional social links in there, his website. He's used his bio line to say even more about what he does. He's just given me so much information. As soon as you land on his profile, you're almost bombarded with information, which personally I think is great. You want to do the job of these people, give them loads of stuff. Don't let them kind of have questions, answer those questions before they're in their head. He's also been very specific about his location. So a lot of you might just have United Kingdom on your location, or you might have where you live as your location. But what you really want to make sure is that your location replicates where you want to be working. So you could be based in Canterbury and not mind travelling to London for a job. In that case, I'd put London as your location. Give it a go, because when, I mean, Kelly and the guys at Lawrence Dean will know this, as recruiters, we have access to LinkedIn Recruiter, and the way that we find candidates if we're headhunting, the first criteria that we're going to use is location. So just make sure that that's up to date. Just going on to the blue box then, you've got a bit more about your job history. Now, I'm not looking for a job, but I am looking for clients. So what I've done is explain a little bit more about my company here. You'll see that there's some media, there's 4 bits of media here. You've got the opportunity to include external links in your job history, and this is a great chance to kind of link to any case studies, any websites you might be on, if you've written articles, any just projects, pieces of work, even social posts you can link to here. So just take advantage of the media examples in this section. You've also got featured posts, which will appear kind of just under the top part of your profile. If you've not done this already, featured posts are where you can go through your social posts on LinkedIn, feature them to the top of your profile. It's like pinning them to the top of your profile, and it just highlights selected posts. These are my ones, and to be honest, I've taken no strategy here whatsoever. I've just highlighted content that I personally like myself, that I've created, that I want people to look at and watch. But for you guys as job seekers, I'd really recommend creating a post. I mean, I'd actually recommend doing a video, but I know that's a bit scary. We'll talk about that in a bit. But if you were to do a video, you could pin a video to the top of your profile talking all about yourself, what you're looking for, what you've done in the past. It could be anything, but a video is a really good way of letting people get to know you. So I think a video is a good example of a featured post. Or you could feature your CV, you could feature why you've left your job, you could feature the fact you're looking for a job, anything. There's all sorts of things you can use in the featured section. If you've got any questions around that, just leave me some comments in the Q&A and I'll answer those for you. And then lastly, just skipping back to Gerard's section again, I don't think this is Gerard's example of providing services, but LinkedIn offers a feature where you can put in what services you provide. So if you're looking for clients, say you're looking for some freelance work as well as full-time work, you can put in services about what you do. And there's some options here. You know, we've got things like content marketing, content strategy, all sorts. It just highlights exactly even more so what you've already got in your profile. Sorry guys, I ramble a bit, so I'm just going to have some water. Okay, so feel free to kind of take a little screenshot of this page if you want to. This is a checklist of kind of everything that I think you should be doing with your profile, and this is stuff you could do today after this call. So you've got your profile header, you've got your profile picture. If you want to make a personalised Canva profile header just like Gerard's, use Canva. I mean, I made this in Canva. It's so easy to use. Most of it's free. I don't know if the templates to download LinkedIn headers are free, but if they're not and you want to do one, just message me and I'll download it for you because I've got a paid for version, so that's fine. Profile picture, a recent one. No one likes a catfish. Make sure it's recent, smiley, warm, and that you look approachable. A byline to reflect what you're looking for. So a good tip with that is the jobs that you're applying for, they're going to have criteria. Include that in your byline, just so immediately that recruiter or hiring manager makes that connection. You've got providing services as well. Make sure your location is specific. Your featured posts, have a go at refreshing the words in your job history and adding those media examples. One we didn't touch on the previous slide is getting recommendations. Now, we've all worked with people in the past. If you're unemployed right now, reach out to those ex-colleagues. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to recommend you. Even if you get one recommendation, all it takes is just a few sentences, and it's just bolstering your profile a little bit more. Anytime someone's asked me for a recommendation, provided I've worked with them in the past, I'm more than happy to do so. So just reach out to those people in the past. It could make all the difference. And then finally, really importantly, check your settings. You wouldn't believe how many people don't realise their profile picture isn't visible. I've spoken to people before, and then I've gone onto their LinkedIn page and I've said, oh, you don't have a profile picture? And they say, no, I do. And then they've checked their settings and it's only available to see by certain people. So first connections and things like that. So just make sure that all your settings are up to date, that everything's available to everyone, and that your contact information is up to date. You haven't got like an old work email address or an old phone number. Just give it a real spring clean. So I think that's everything to do with your profile. So yeah, leave me any questions that you've got and I'll answer them at the end. I think that's everything so far. So then it's moving on to connecting with the right people and how you find those people and the approach to take. Now, if you're a bit of a stalker like me, I love finding people on social media. You're going to love this. So it's so simple and it can really, really help your job search. All you need to do, so I've got a screenshot here. I've already applied the filters, but all you need to do is go onto your homepage, type in managing director at the top, for example. Click enter. You don't need to do anything else, just click enter. You'll then get a long list of results and they'll all be really irrelevant because they're going to be all over the place. So you've then got the option at the top called all filters, and you can have a look at all these different filters. There's loads. I'd recommend just filtering by location, industry. I think that's all I've done here. And then you've got a list of managing directors in your area, in your industry that you can reach out to. They're all just there, which is great. So what I'd recommend doing is actually following them rather than connecting with them. And the reason for this is connecting with someone requires them to accept your connection request. If they don't know you, they might not want to do that. You know, people take different approaches to LinkedIn. They just might skip your request. It could be all sorts of reasons. So just follow them first, and then you can see their content. They won't see yours, but you'll see theirs. By seeing their content in your feed, it's then showing up in their feed, and you've got opportunities to engage with it. And then at a later date, you can connect with them. You can also look at company pages and do some digging around who's who. So say there's a job that you want to apply for. Have a look at who works there. They might have posted some content recently about it. There's just loads of information available to you on LinkedIn that isn't available elsewhere. Oh. Okay, so when it comes to connecting with people, personally, I like receiving notes with my connection requests. I know there's always this argument kind of whether people should personalize their connection requests or not. And my advice is that if you're job seeking and reaching out to employers, then absolutely you should. There's a couple of examples in here of ones that I've received before, which I think are great ones that caught my eye. So you've got the first one. I can tell that he's seen a piece of content of mine and he's just commenting on that. He could have commented on the post itself, but he took the opportunity to leave his feedback in a connection request. And then the second one, he's made a kind of funny comment about my relationship with my co-founder, which to me shows that he's seen our content in the past, he's followed our journey. So yeah, I think it's really worthwhile leaving these notes. And Personally, I wouldn't make them too formal. You've not got long, you've not got many characters. I'd get straight to the point, show some personality, be light-hearted, and just forget all the formalities. It's not necessary on LinkedIn. So then it comes to actually engaging with these people. And this is sometimes the bit that people get a bit stumped on. So hopefully this section helps. Now there's two parts to this, which is reaching out directly, but also just engaging with their content in general. So this is an example of a message that I received where someone's just wanting to put themselves on my radar. And again, feel free to screenshot this if you want to copy this kind of format, because I think this is a really nice message. So you find the hiring manager, and to do that, you can go on the company page on LinkedIn and look at the employees. The hiring manager won't always be obvious. Sometimes it'll be a recruiter. Other times, say for example, you're applying to a graphic design role, the hiring manager could be the creative director. So do a bit of digging on the company page and find the hiring manager, and ask for more details on a role, or ask for, if they're not hiring, you could ask for what they look for in a candidate so that you can apply in future. I think they'd appreciate that proactivity. I'd personally be quite impressed by that. Feel free to just ask to send them your CV for future consideration. I'd be quite laid back about it, just sort of say that I understand if you're not looking right now, but I'd love the opportunity to get my CV across, and you can keep hold of it in future. You've then got their email address, so you can then follow up with them, and you're starting that relationship. Another thing to do is ask for advice. Just ask anything. Like, they really are not going to bite. The worst that's going to happen is you don't get a reply. So just take the opportunity, do it, be brave. I'm sure most people will appreciate you, that they understand your situation, and they'll appreciate you reaching out. So yeah, the second approach to take is actually engaging with their content as well. So some more examples here. You can see that Janine has left me a connection request note. She then followed up about a month later, and she's asking me for a bit of advice. Straight away, I thought, yeah, of course, I'm going to get back to her. We're starting that conversation and that relationship build. You've got Olivia here, who's asked a question on a piece of content to prompt a response, and she's also left her opinion on that piece of content. And it's just getting involved in those discussions. Just publicly as well, they're more likely to reply. People within the industry are going to get involved, and you're just putting yourself on their radar just that little bit more. Okay, and then getting creative, and this bit is in two parts as well. So I've got getting creative with your job applications, and then getting creative with your LinkedIn content. So with your job applications, now I used to work in marketing recruitment, and I work in marketing now. So I see a lot of creative job applications. I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but I still believe no matter what job you're applying for, you can get more creative and you can stand out. It just takes being brave. So starting with the floating head in the corner, some of you may have seen this one. Because we put it all over LinkedIn. I think I did a post on LinkedIn saying that I'd received the best job application ever, and it got something like 2,500 likes on LinkedIn. It got picked up by the BBC and featured on national news. This is George, and he was hired by us as a videographer. He sent in a video of him. He literally made himself into a floating head. I mean, how ridiculous. You can see it there. But his braveness and his wackiness was just, it just spoke to us. He knows the sort of people that we look for. We were looking for someone really creative, had really cool ideas, and straight away we thought, yeah, you're the one. So we rang him as soon as we saw the video, got him straight in, and hired him pretty much straight away. Another example that some of you may have seen on LinkedIn at the moment, is certainly been all over my LinkedIn feed, is Lewis Fountain, who basically kind of ran his own marketing campaign to get himself a job, which I just thought was so cool. Operation #GetLewAJob. And this is a screenshot of a PDF document that he's uploaded to LinkedIn. I mean, this is one of like 30 pages or something. It's not his CV, it's just this really cool document that he made all about what he does as a designer. He made it really funny, he made it quite tongue-in-cheek as well. And he just pushed it all over LinkedIn. He asked people to engage with it. When he connected with me, he said, I can't remember the exact connection request now, but it was something like, I'm looking for a job, is there any chance I could get a like from you just to spread this content further? And as you can see here, yeah, in 3 days, I caught up with him yesterday just to check if he minded if I included this. And he said, well, you can tell everyone I've actually got a job. In just 3 days, he got 8 interviews, 3 job offers, freelance work and business partnerships in 3 days, which to me is just absolutely crazy. I love it. And then you've got some examples here as well, how to actually create LinkedIn content that helps you stand out. This, to be honest, I could talk way more about this, but I feel like it's a totally other kettle of fish. So I don't want to talk too much about this right now. There was loads to pack into this. So there's a few examples here about what you can do anyway. So share your opinion. What a lot of people are scared to do on LinkedIn is share their opinion. There's a lot of kind of on the fence posts, but they don't get attention. You wanna say how you really think, and ask for other people's opinions as well. Prompt discussion and get people involved. The more people that get involved in your posts and that like, comment, share, the more you're going to get seen by the right people. So just prompt that engagement as much as you can. Another way of doing that is just talking about trends and developments in your history, what new features have come out in what you're interested in, new tech, new legislation, what's your opinion on that? And that's, again, involving the right people. You could even tag a few companies, tag a few managing directors that you've recently connected with and ask for their opinion, or send your post to them. Just go out of your way to kind of facilitate these discussions. And then a third tactic here is to give a shout out to businesses that you admire. So Jack runs a video marketing agency, and so did Knowlton. And his post to me sort of says, maybe Jack wants to work with Knowlton. Why is he shouting them out here? So I don't see any harm in giving a platform to those companies that you love the work that they do. You could maybe share a campaign that you've seen that you really like by them, a project they've completed, new branding, stuff they've done for their staff, so how they've treated people on furlough, maybe they've done things for World Mental Health Day, things like that. Just shout out companies, that you admire. So this is another one. Please take a screenshot, and this is more homework for you guys. Find one thing to talk about in your industry every day. Share your opinion. This could be on anything at all. Find companies you love. And then lastly, I really want you guys to do this. Film a video and just let people get to know you. Your CV will never have the same impact as a video. Your LinkedIn, static LinkedIn content, LinkedIn text posts will still never have the same impact as a video. But if you don't want to post it on LinkedIn, send it to your target employers. Just film a video, please. Do something with it. Lastly, I didn't include this at the beginning, but lastly, just don't give up. The key to using LinkedIn is consistency. And don't be afraid of thinking that you're ramming it down people's throats. If they don't like it, they'll unfollow you. You don't get anywhere by just trying, a couple of days and then giving up. I mean, unlike Lewis, who literally did this for 3 days, but he honestly pushed and pushed and pushed this campaign. He did so well with it. Please don't give up. And finally, I know how I can understand how difficult it is being a job seeker right now. The market is just, this, Kelly, absolutely awful right now. And I think it's really important to be kind to yourself. Make sure you've got some structure in your day. So perhaps you could dedicate, I don't know, as an example, 10 to 11 job seeking on the job boards. 11 till 12, you're on LinkedIn, researching companies, connecting with target employers, and planning content for the week. Secondly, make sure that you're also doing something you're passionate about. It could be anything. It could be, at the moment for me, buying furniture from my finding cheap furniture on Facebook Marketplace and in charity shops, and upcycling and doing bits of DIY, you might be interested in songwriting, or I don't know, it could be anything. But do things that you're passionate about to give yourself more purpose in your days. And you never know where this is going to take you either. Could be ideas for video content. You could post that on LinkedIn, and you don't know, some opportunities could come from that. Some little business partnerships, collaborations. You don't know who that's going to get seen by. And lastly, give yourself some space as well to recharge and refresh after all of this, because it can be draining. It's a lot of hard work. I promise it will pay off. But yeah, just give yourself a bit of space to chill and unwind as well. So I think that's everything. I feel like I sort of word vomited there and bombarded you guys with information. So hopefully it's been helpful. Please add me on LinkedIn. Let me know if this was helpful as well. And if you want any more tips, more than happy to look at any videos, social posts, your LinkedIn profiles. CV wise, I think Kelly's the one to speak to about that. But anything else, I'm more than happy to help with. So yeah, thanks so much for having me.
We've got some questions.
Okay.
Let's throw some questions your way. Before we do, I feel like I need to explain why my name is Harrison on everybody's screens. There is a LinkedIn reason for it. It's not completely random. So some of you are on LinkedIn, I know, but some aren't, so won't have seen this. But I did hopefully a classic mistake, we've all been there, but last week sent an email campaign out to lots of people who've registered with us for work to tell them about this very webinar. So I had the email all set up to let people know the webinar was happening. During the course of that day, I'd spoken to a few people directly, one of whom was Harrison, who I'm really hoping might be on this webinar. If you are, say hello in the chat box, please, Harrison. You're becoming LinkedIn famous through all of this.
Really hope they are.
Yeah, he had registered, so I'm hoping he's here. So I'd emailed Harrison directly about the webinar because he's looking for work at the moment. So I'd sent him an email telling him about it. Then I forgot to change the Harrison part back to a mail merge. So when I sent the campaign to all the people registered with us, they all got an email saying, "Hi, Harrison," on a Friday afternoon. And actually, I would never have done this before I knew you, Olivia, but actually following on from what I've learned from Red Sprout and all the videos that I've seen, I thought, you know what, this could make really good content. Everybody's been there. It was
and
just,
it did.
It did. It got loads of traction, loads of following, and actually largely a really positive response of people either just taking the mickey out of me or sympathising, and even Harrison got involved. Yeah. So one of the best examples that I could come up with of the type of content you can put on LinkedIn that I probably would never, well, I definitely never would have done a year ago. But it's nothing about Lawrence Dean. It's nothing about what we do. It's just about me as a human being, and that thing of we can all make mistakes, but let's just kind of laugh and learn from them, and a bit of fun.
Exactly. And you've got a great bio line, Kelly / Harrison. I love your bio line. What is it? It's something about being a director and a mum and a plate spinner and all of this stuff. I love that.
It used to be very serious, and again, this is something that it used to be very much so recruiting for blah 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 throughout Hertfordshire, and I thought people will figure that out if they see my banner. If they've gone as far as looking at my profile, they'll see my banner that says what I do. The bio line is a bit more about me now, so yeah, I'm learning lots about LinkedIn. Right, let's hit you with some.
Love it.
We've had some great ones. Keep them coming if you've got more as we go through. We've got a little bit of time left, so pop them in. A couple of people have asked if the recording will be sent out, which yes, it will. So a couple of people have had tiny glitchy sound issues or are watching on phones. So the webinar will be up on our website within a couple of days. Once it's ready, I'll share a link on LinkedIn. So connect with me, connect with Liv. You'll see it, and it will also be on our website as well. So you'll have plenty of time to go back and review. But that's that one. Okay, Malcolm has asked, this is a good one. Profile is probably very much based on personal opinion, but I'm interested to see yours. So profile picture, if you're looking for work, suit, work dress, or casual?
I'd always say casual, always. I mean, yeah, that's my opinion. I'd say casual. Don't go too casual. I mean, don't have like, you know, a pina colada in your hand or anything. But I don't think anything too suited and booted. If you really feel more comfortable in a suit, just at least make sure it's a bit of a smiley picture, it's warm. Like Gerard's in a suit in his profile picture. And I thought that was a really good example. So I think the most important thing with your profile picture is more about your expression. Also make sure that it's clear that it's you. Don't try and be too arty and funny angles or filters or anything like that. So I think what you're actually wearing is less important. For me, if it was down to clothes though, I'd always say casual.
Yeah, I agree actually. I think it doesn't really matter which. The only things as a recruiter that I don't like seeing on LinkedIn are, like you said, about filtered, the really sort of heavily edited Snapchat, sort of, I don't know, like going out. It's just probably for you, and you casual, smiley, relaxed, then I think the whole point is to get people to know you, isn't it? So I think anything goes. Okay, thank you. Stephen, this is a bit of a technical one, but a sort of what you said about the basics. Stephen has asked how you talked about putting a geographical location in. How do you do that on your profile?
Off the top of my head, I presume if you're on your profile itself, if you hover over certain sections, there's like a pen icon, and you can click that to edit certain sections. Okay. If you don't do that, I'd go into your settings and find it in there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember precisely how you do it, but it should be quite intuitive. I'm sure they make it quite easy for people to do. I'm pretty sure you do just sort of hover around somewhere on your profile and you'll have the option to.
Yeah. So we've had a message from Steve. This is quite an interesting one. So if you're still employed but looking for another job, what are your thoughts about your current employer seeing all your LinkedIn activity and all these comments and connections? Do you think there's any risk of that happening? Any downside to being active on LinkedIn if you're employed?
I think there's always, from an employer perspective, there's always going to be a downside. It's just a risk that you take anyway. I mean, you'll know as a recruiter, if your recruiters are building their personal brand on LinkedIn and they're getting loads of connections and followers, what's going to stop them going off and starting their own recruitment business with the personal brand that they've built? That's always going to be a risk in any company, in any situation. But personally, LinkedIn's a social networking site. I think if your boss is trying to police you too much on LinkedIn, it sounds to me like a bit of a toxic environment anyway. And I think really you can, it's not even disguising it, it's just part of it. You're getting involved in your industry. Yeah. Unless you're sort of commenting saying I want a job on someone's posts, really you're just getting involved in industry discussion. So I don't think your boss should really have too much to say about it personally.
That would be my take on it, unless you're overtly commenting, have you got any vacancies, I need to you're just growing your network, and LinkedIn is your space, it belongs to you. So obviously, depending on what you do for a living, you need to be mindful of representing your company in the way you would want to, but it is your domain, your space, and you're building your network. It could be for any reason, couldn't it? Not just looking for a job.
And that's good for business anyway, because people buy from people. If as an employee of a business, if someone's seeing your content that you're putting out that's industry related, they like what you're doing, they'll see that you're working for that employer, they'll connect you with that employer, that could lead to business opportunities. That's how I'd sell it to my boss. So there you go. Got an alibi.
Yeah, there's a benefit of it. Okay. Steve has asked, are premium accounts worthwhile for job seekers?
I don't think so. I don't even have a premium account anymore. I only had a premium account when I was a recruiter to use Recruiter, but now I don't have one. So I personally don't see the benefit at all. No.
Yeah, I don't either. I've had one occasionally when LinkedIn offer free trial for a month, and then after a month you'd start paying. Sometimes I grab it and then get rid of it. And you can do so much searching and connecting with the free platform anyway, can't you?
Well, yeah, but they've changed it recently. There's a limit per day. It's still a lot. You can still get through a lot, but I think they've put a cap on it now, because obviously they want people to, I think a lot of people are moving away from premium because they're not really getting value out of it. But you can still search for loads of people, look at loads of people's profiles. So yeah, wouldn't bother with premium at all.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Mark's put a comment in the chat. Let me just see if this is a question. I did see someone on LinkedIn suggest that if you're currently employed, you should not end your current job on LinkedIn, or if you have, put down the new company as looking for work. He suggested if LinkedIn shows you as unemployed and not in a role, you don't appear in recruiter searches. I'm not sure there's any truth in that. Have you heard of that?
It depends on So I'd actually say yes, that is true. Don't appear in recruiter searches, depending on how they search. Because for me personally, if I was looking for a marketing manager, I'd be looking for, previously anyway, in last year, I'd be looking for roles below a marketing manager, so senior account executive or junior marketing manager, things like that, looking for people to headhunt who would want to go into a marketing manager role. So for that purpose, I agree. But on the other hand, I don't think it makes too much difference. I think if you are unemployed, I think you want to make it clear you're looking for work and that you're available. So I wouldn't keep your current job, because it's just going to confuse things otherwise. And if you're applying for jobs as well directly through job boards and using your CV, and then that recruiter's checking out your LinkedIn profile, they're going to get a bit confused. So yeah, on the one hand, in terms of coming up with headhunting searches, but people are headhunting less now. They're having to rely on that less because direct applications have increased so much. So actually, I would make it clear that you're looking for work.
And quite a lot of businesses at the moment, I saw something about this on LinkedIn yesterday, and I actually completely agree, but a lot of businesses at the moment feel there's a bit of a moral obligation to favour people who are out of work at the moment, because there are so many people out of work. So actually, if you happen to be applying to a company who holds that view that why would I employ someone who's already got a job when there are so many people who don't have one, out of work, then it for that benefit, it may be better to say so as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope that answers your question, Mark. Faustina has asked, now this is a sort of CV related question actually, so from my CV head I would answer yes to this, but she's asked, on LinkedIn in your sort of employment history section, is it better to bullet point your experience or write in paragraphs? Now with my CV head on, I would always say bullet points, because you don't get long to catch the eye and people need to be able to see quickly what you've done, and that's always easier in bullet points rather than a big long paragraph. Would you say the same holds on LinkedIn, Livia?
Yes, if you don't bullet point, I just really space it out, because anything you post on LinkedIn, no one likes big paragraphs in any format. No one likes big paragraphs full stop. It's not just on CVs, or it applies to social posts as well. Any type of social content, it all needs to be very digestible and very easy to read. So however you lay out your any words that you've got across your profile, keep it short, keep it sweet, no jargon, no kind of like big stupid words. By that I mean, when you get companies that are like, I'm a technical solutions provider, and it's like, what's that? You're not saying anything. So just be specific, keep it short and sweet, and just make it clear what you do, but also add some personality in as well, and use the added media bits as well, just to make it a bit more visual too. So whatever you do, whether it's using bullet points or otherwise, just keep it really sort of easy to read. Yeah.
And the technical jargon part is really true. Actually, we covered something similar on our previous webinar about CVs. Some companies have really niche job titles that actually could cover something else. So you could be a customer service advisor, but in one company they call you a, I don't know, client liaison support officer. There's an argument for call yourself customer service advisor on LinkedIn, because that's what most people would know it as, or at the very least put your actual job title with customer service in brackets, so that you're making it spoon feed somebody with what you've done.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where you've got the opportunity to use your bio line. So your job history can be your specific job titles that you've had, but your bio line, which is underneath your name, it can be customer service - client liaison - account management. It could just be more like your top skills in your bio line. So the first thing people see when they land on your profile are those 3 keywords. They then scroll down to your job title, which is obviously of less significance. So that's kind of one way to get around that.
That's a great idea. Okay, thank you. Eric has asked, I'm interested in your answer to this one as well. Thanks, it's a great question, Eric. What time of day is best to post on LinkedIn?
Oh, how long's a piece of string?
Another question.
Do you know what? In my experience, I've got times of day that don't work. So I did a post last night at about 9 p.m. because I tend to just test stuff, because I don't care. I'll test stuff on behalf of my clients, and I can share that information with them. So I put a post about 9. Honestly, the traction was just shocking. I thought I'm just going to delete this and I'll post it at a better time this week. So I really wouldn't recommend evening posts unless it's a Sunday. Sunday evening posts do really well. I don't know if it's because a lot of people, and I think these people are mad, but a lot of people will sit and do their emails on Sundays, or they'll sort of plan their weeks on Sunday nights. So they're kind of in that work mode a little bit on Sunday night. So I would test Sunday nights. The classic days that everyone says are Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, which, to be fair, are days where people are very active on LinkedIn. Time-wise, a lot of people also say to post around sort of between 10 and 11 on those days, but that means that then everyone is posting at that time. So it depends. I think to cut through, really, it's less about the time that you post. It's more about how often you post and consistency. And so my advice around that would be test different times. You could do one post at 10 on a Tuesday, one post at 3 on a Wednesday, and one post at 12 on a Thursday. Just record the kind of engagement you get at those times, and then the following week make adjustments. And then, yeah, just kind of just keep consistent with it and try. I did a post recently. When was it? I put a video out at 4 p.m. on a Thursday, which normally would be like pretty dead time, and it did so well. It just went absolutely mad. I'm still getting engagement on it now. Yeah. Fridays are also quite good days to do more personal stuff. So if you're doing if you're doing content talking about job seeking and from a job seeker perspective, a Friday would probably be quite a good day. So. Yeah. I feel like that's really not answered the question, because there's just so many answers to that. But yeah, consistency is more important than your timing.
If you've made a massive mistake, like calling everyone the wrong name on an email, Friday seemed to do quite well to post that. Is that for mine worked?
Fridays are a supportive day, I find. I think people are like, any more sort of personal stuff on a Friday, I think does quite well. And then the more worky stuff on the other days of the week.
Yeah. One of the best pieces of advice you gave me that really works is when you've posted something to then sit and watch it for an hour, or not just doing that, but
yeah.
You're allowed to move. But if people do comment in that first hour, make sure you reply back quickly. That can help it build a bit of traction quicker.
Absolutely. And that was advice from a long time ago, which hasn't changed actually. Advice around LinkedIn, you've got to be mindful, that's why I'm careful answering some of these questions, because you've got a lot of LinkedIn gurus who like say this and say that, but things change very, very rapidly on LinkedIn. The algorithm is always changing. That's why it's really just a case of doing your own testing and being consistent. But the one thing I've noticed has stayed the same is engaging within that first hour with posts. That is still really important. The reason for that is the LinkedIn algorithm. It's telling the LinkedIn algorithm that people are interested in your post. So if you're getting replies to your posts, comments on your posts, and you're replying to those, the algorithm is seeing double the comments because it's got your replies to the comments, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's really, it's important to reply all the time anyway, but it becomes a full-time job, doesn't it? So if you could just dedicate the first hour, then that is really important.
Yeah. And that links to a question that we've had from Natasha, actually, who has said she seems lately to be seeing older content, things posted a couple of weeks ago, or suddenly getting comments on something she posted a couple of weeks ago. And is that because the algorithm has changed, potentially?
Yeah. I think content has got a much longer lifespan now, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because you're getting more eyeballs on your content. It's lasting longer. One of my clients said recently that he finds it quite frustrating because if he said something topical or his opinion has changed since he posted that, he then gets comments on that post from a week ago, and it's a bit of a chore having to go back to those. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think the more your posts are getting seen by more people, the better, really. So yeah, I'm experiencing the same thing. Some posts from a week ago I still get engagement on now. It's roughly about a week and then it stops. But it did used to be, content lifespan used to be sort of a day, and now it's sort of really quickly changed to across a week. So yeah, that is happening.
Okay. Stephen has asked, do hashtags work or help boost a post?
I think yes. I always use hashtags. I get good engagement on my posts, and I feel weird if I don't use a hashtag. I was saying in the office yesterday, I now think that posts that aren't rounded off with, I'm just a bit like, fussy like this though, but posts that aren't rounded off with a couple of hashtags, I think just look a bit odd. I just like it in the visually, I like it for the structure of a post, and I get all fussy about that kind of thing. But the benefit of hashtags is if you're following, for example, hashtag leadership or hashtag culture, you're getting posts into your feed that are related to that hashtag from people that you're not connected to. So to me, that's extending the reach of your content, and that can only be a good thing. So I'd always recommend using hashtags, but only use 3. I don't know why, apparently the LinkedIn algorithm prefers it if you just like 3. And also it's a bit tidier. It's less sort of salesy with all these pushy hashtags at the end. Just use 3 and only put them towards the end of your post, not within your post. So there's all these silly little things you need to think of,
Gerard has said, this is really helpful actually, thank you for this, that LinkedIn pulls that first hashtag into the URL of the post, which then gets indexed by Google.
Oh, we can rely on Gerard for it to be techie.
Very techie, and also agree. Only 3. Thank you very much, Gerard. And we've also had a comment from Ross, which might help those people who were saying about searching for a job when you're already employed. Apparently, you can select whether the open to work on your profile is visible to everyone or only those that have got the recruiter functionality. So have a play around with that. That might be useful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ross. Keith has asked whether you would tailor your approach depending on whether you're looking for interim work instead of a permanent job.
I don't know in what way that you'd tailor it really. No, I'd keep it the same. If anything, interim might be easier right now because I think a lot of people are, I don't know what your experience has been, Kelly, but I think a lot of people are kind of considering more interim or contract work than they are perm from an employer perspective. I don't know.
I think any kind of recession, for whatever reason, the recruitment industry was always hit because of a lack of confidence, and now more than ever with so much uncertainty in the world, the one thing that employers are lacking is confidence in what the future is going to hold. So things are either paused or done in a bit more of a tentative way. So yeah, we are seeing contracts or temp to perm that try before you buy scenarios coming through. So I think rather than tailor your approach and do things any differently, I just think if you are open to temporary opportunities or contracts as well as permanent, just make that clear maybe in your bio that you would consider short or long-term opportunities, just to keep the options open for anybody looking at your
just seeing Keith's comment again. People more likely to look for culture fit for perm and more likely to look for quick results for interim? Well, that's how you can tailor your approach in that case. If they're looking for quick results, you can highlight what quick results you've got in the past. You can highlight both your culture fit and any results that you've got, any of your achievements. That's opportunities to create featured posts there. So you could do a featured post on, I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it is that you do, Keith. I do know what you do, but I can't remember. And you could do like a little case study post about I don't know, some client work that you've done before, some consultancy work that you've done in the past, and do a little case study. Maybe include kind of in the time frames that you've done that in, what results you got in those time frames. So rather than focusing too much on the personality side to meet the culture fit requirements, perhaps do it more about the work that you've done to meet that kind of quick need for fast results.
Yeah, I agree, but I still would say everything else we've said still stands about personality and things. I don't in one sector of recruitment, but as much as we'd love to say we can just concentrate on skills if it's a contract, I think companies still don't completely disregard the culture and the team fit side of things, so still keep personality. Okay, I think we've had another question. Let me just check. I hope I haven't missed anyone. If I have missed any questions, because they're coming in a bit thick and fast, if I've missed any questions, then please just connect with Liv or I on LinkedIn, send them through to us. That's absolutely fine if there's anything that we have missed. And like I said, we will send the recording out to you all for afterwards. So thank you all for your time. I think that's everything. Got like one last second to add any burning other questions if I have missed any. Thank you so much. That was really, really helpful. It was fascinating stuff. You could go forever, couldn't you, talking about all of this?
Oh, I know. Yeah, there's loads to say. So yeah, hopefully it was helpful. I didn't bombard everyone.
It's That's great, really helpful. So yeah, connect with me, connect with Liv. We'll accept a connection request from anyone. And like Liv said at the start, if it's LinkedIn stuff, you're probably better to go to her. But anything to do with CVs or your job search or what have you, then feel free to get in touch. Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Take care. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.